What's good, Panther Nation? It's your boy, Myron McRae, a.k.a. Tornado McRae, across the scours of the internet, here with another episode of Panther Pride TV, your one-stop shop for all your Panther notifications and your Panther obligations. And man, happy Tuesday to all you guys and gals, theys, nims, however you identify. Hope y'all are having a wonderful day. Hope y'all are having a fantastic day. If your work week just started, hope it's going smooth. If you're in school and you're in finals week or whatever the case may be, hope you pass all your finals. And guys, let's go ahead, get into this docket because a couple things have come across my timeline. I've been sent a couple things, and I want to talk to y'all about it. And the number one thing that came up was the infamous 2023 trade. We all know the trade. We all know who we got in that trade. But now begs the question, who actually won that trade? And so when we look back at this trade, all of us know Carolina moved from 8-1 to select Bryce Young in that trade. And we gave up a lot, including DJ Moore in that process. But not only the DJ, here's how the trade went down and everybody that was selected. So Chicago had DJ. They will also go on to take Caleb Williams with the number overall pick next year. Then with the rest of those picks, here are the other players. You had Darnell Wright, an offensive tackle they took. They took a punter in Torrey Taylor, a cornerback in Tyreek Stevenson, and then just this year in the draft with the final pick of this trade, they took Luther Burden III at wide receiver. And honestly, when you look back at this trade and you look back at everything, and I look at the team records, because last year, both teams finished 5-12. Both teams had essentially all the assets. Obviously, Luther Burden wasn't there, but Chicago had all the assets from that trade in place and utilized them last year. We, obviously, had Bryce Young. And so when I looked at it, Chicago started hot and then lost 10 of their last 11, including just 10 straight. Whereas Carolina, in their last 9 games, we went 4-5 in our last 9 games. So when you ask me the question of who won the trade, I'm actually going to say Carolina won this trade. And here's the reason why. One, I've always felt this way with Bryce Young and everything that came in. We gave away Bryce Young's best weapon in DJ Moore in that trade. We had already lost Christian McCaffrey, and we gave away Bryce Young. So asking Bryce to come in and immediately change the franchise the way we were asking him to was a hill and a mountain of an ask out of a franchise. To immediately turn him around like that was a mountain of an ask out of a franchise. I firmly believe that. I stand 10 toes on it. So looking at where Bryce is now and where Bryce finished last season, because at the start of last season, yes, I was firmly on the train, especially when we lost to Chicago and the way Bryce was playing, I was like, oh yeah, Chicago won the trade. We lost that trade. It's up, bro. But as the way the season progressed and the way the season played out, and you could say that Chicago's incompetent coaching and the way they handle situations, yes, you could throw that in there. But I can also make the argument of Bryce wasn't in a stable situation. Bryce wasn't with stable leadership, wasn't with a stable coach, wasn't with a stable foundation of a team. I can make that argument as to why Bryce looked as bad as he did. So I genuinely think that Carolina won the trade because looking at where this team is going as compared to where Chicago's not going in the right direction. Their leadership, their team, their organization, they are not going in the right direction right now. Carolina is going in the right direction. Carolina is getting the pieces and going in the right direction. So I am 100% on Carolina won this trade because, one, it's like you got DJ Moore, and DJ's been doing phenomenal over there. Never taking that away from DJ. But you're starting to waste his talent. Tyreek Stevenson, great corner over there. But he can only do so much. You took a punter with one of these picks. No shade to punters, but hey, you could have used that asset for somebody better. And Caleb Williams has been up and down in his first year. Granted, it was his rookie year. I'm not going to harp on the man too much because it was his rookie year and he's playing in Chicago with a bad organization. But they got all those assets from us and still finished with the same record as us. That's honestly my main point to drive home here is they got all those assets from us and finished with the same record as us. And it doesn't even look the same. Yes, Carolina was bad at one point. We didn't lose 10 straight that last year. Now, the year before, when we had Frank Reich, yeah, that was not a pretty time. It was not a pretty time, bro. But I'm just saying, and I genuinely think that Carolina is on the up and up and going in the right direction, and I like the direction that we're going into. So I will say we won the trade. That's just me. And speaking of analysts and people asking about Carolina and where they're at on track, another thing that popped up on my feed was apparently an NFL analyst is out here saying that our defense in 2025 is still going to be garbage. Now, who might you say is saying this? I had to go look, but Matt Johnson of Sports Nut, and this article came from Sports Illustrated online, he dropped his rankings of his defensive rankings heading into 2025. And here's what he had to say that heading into 2025, the only defenses that will be worse than Carolina will be the Tennessee Titans and the New Orleans Saints. Here's what he had to say. He says, the Carolina Panthers tried to spend even more on this defense in free agency, but Milton Williams turned them down. At the very least, adding playmaker safety Trevon Moehrig behind standout corner J.C. Horn provides some optimism with the pass defense. Plus, Carolina is getting back standout D-tackle Derrick Brown. The Panthers' run defense is going to be awful again, and they won't fare that much better against the pass. But at least they won't reach the abysmal lows we saw in 2024. Mr. Johnson. And I know y'all telling me not to take these so-called analysts to heart, and I don't. But when they talk bad about our team and they talk so much trash, especially when it's disingenuous and just doesn't make sense, I gotta step to the room. I gotta make an assessment. I gotta talk to you one-to-one, man-to-man, because what? Make that make sense. Okay. I'm not going to say Carolina's going to be the number one defense in the nation. I'm not dumb. I'm not disingenuous like that. But Princely Umanmielen, Nick Scorton, we get Derrick Brown back. Christian Rosebrook, what Trevon Moehrig, like J.C. Horn's healthy. What are we talking about here? Lathan Ransom, who can play in the box and help with that run. What are you talking about? The only teams that are going to be worse than us are the Saints and the Titans. Whoa. Do you think Jacksonville's going to have a better defense than us? Cincinnati's going to have a better defense than us? Indy's going to have a better defense than us? Chicago's going to have a better defense than us? New England's going to have a better defense? The Giants are going to have the Cowboys are going to... Absolutely not. Absolutely not, bro. Oh, no. Listen. I get Carolina's defense was bad, but the way they've been cooking in the lab, this free agency and this draft, you think we're going to be the bottom 3 defense in the league? Absolutely not. Now, if you're just basing this just because of what you saw last year and you're like, yep, that's exactly where they're going this year, there's no... You're blind. You're stupid and you're blind. I'm sorry. No. Do I think Carolina's going to be the number one defense in the nation? No. But do I think we're going to be the bottom 3 of the nation? Absolutely not. I'm offended. And Mr. Johnson, you are on the list now. Y'all keep me in check. We going to keep these names. Everybody who says we're trash and we're not doing anything, we keeping these names. Matt Johnson, you on that list next, bro. And lastly, I want to touch on this, guys, because I think this is actually really cool. So, Zach Luttrell, the founder of Roaring Riot Panther group, right? A lot of us have heard of Roaring Riot. We've heard of that Panther group. It's a huge Panther group. Lovely atmosphere, right? They are creating a new experience for Panther fans for away games this upcoming season. So, Zach Luttrell is launching a new company called Conquest Experiences, which is going to give an all-inclusive Carolina Panther experience for away games. And mind you, for those of you who don't know, Roaring Riot has been organizing away games, like trips to away games for the last 15 years, over the last 15 years. So this is right up their alley. If you've ever experienced it, you know what we're talking about. But here's the deal. So, hold up. Here we go. So here's the breakdown. Right? So what's going to happen is Roaring Riot is going to have like a flying trip, a flying experience that everyone can go on. 18 people will be able to go on this trip, and you're going on a private jet and everything like that. Everyone on the trip, you'll get a private dining experience with a former Panther player, and he'll also join you like in the game in the suite. And those players might include a Thomas Davis, a Wesley Walls, a Mike Rucker. It might even be a Luke Kuechly. You never know. And it's going to be, and with it, obviously, it's going to be like 3 8-seat private jets, and they will take you to the destination. That is travel to the airport, travel from the airport, and it includes the stay at a really nice high-end hotel. I think that's really awesome. And then following that up, for those of you who are wondering about scheduling and things like that, the trips will be on Saturday to Sunday, and we'll get you back in time for work on Monday morning, so you don't have to worry about that. You will be able to get back in time for work. They're expected to go to 6 out of the 9 away games, but they will not go to Arizona or San Francisco because that requires the plane to be refueled, which would delay them being able to get you back in time for work on Monday. So Arizona and Carolina, you won't be able to get this. Arizona and San Francisco, you won't be able to get this flying experience. I'm sorry if those are the games you're trying to go to. And pricing right now still is to be determined, but it's estimated around $10,000, which honestly, for all of that, honestly, is not the worst thing in the world I've heard. But the final prices will be determined once the schedule drops, like the official schedule drops next week on May 14th. I say all that to say this is a really cool experience in my mind. If you have the money, if you have the time, if you have the resources to do it, that is a really cool experience to just enjoy, embark on, and just say you were able to do it. Do I have the money right now to do so? Absolutely not. No, I wish I did. I would definitely sign up for it. But even if I don't, and if you do, I think that's a really cool experience. I love the fact that they're offering this to Panther fans as something to experience, because I'm sure all of us have thought, man, what's it like to fly in a private jet, get private catering, X, Y, and Z. We've all flown first class, but how many of us have flown private jet? I'm just saying, bro. We've all flown first class, or at least have come close to it, but how many of us have flown private jet? The best I've ever done was I was able to fly first class to Japan for my 30th birthday about a year and a half ago. That was amazing. But private jet to Japan would have been, oh, man. So I definitely think if you're a Panthers fan, if you have the money and this interests you, definitely look for this. Go to roaringriot.com. Make sure to catch the updates. That way, when the prices drop, you can see how much it's going to cost. And, hey, you can get to have a once-in-a-lifetime experience, man. But, guys, that's all I have for today's episode. Please comment below. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you know when you're getting these videos. Let me know your thoughts. How do you feel about who won the trade between us and Chicago? How do you feel about Matt Johnson saying our defense is still going to be trash? How do you feel about this trip experience? And would you do it if you had the money? Or if you have the money, are you going to do it? And let me know all your thoughts, because at the end of the day, what do I know? I'm just a skinny brother with 2 tats. Peace. Much love to all of you, Panther Nation. Take care. Later days. And as always, keep pounding. I'll see you next time.